All right, so let's talk a little bit about our favorite person. Let's talk about everybody's favorite CEO, the most gracious, the most selfless, and the most kind person that you would ever meet, Bobby Kotick. Now, the way you know that is because that's what he tells you.
There's an article today that paints an inaccurate and misleading view of our company, of me personally, and my leadership. Anyone who doubts my conviction to be the most welcoming and inclusive workplace doesn't really appreciate how important this is to me.
Recently, today, there's been a number of articles that have been released, and I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. So Bobby Kotick, as no surprise, was actually quite aware of the fact that there was sexual harassment in the company. And how could he not be aware? Because he was one of the people that did it. Oh, wow. I could have never expected this. And you know why this is so obvious? Is because, surprise, surprise, of course this fucking happened. Bobby being implicated in his own sexual harassment stuff, this already went out to the public whenever all the controversy broke. It's just that there was so much more focus around the people that were like way worse than Bobby that no one even talked about him, because he was like fucking the last boss and people are still trying to clear trash mobs and mini bosses. So people fucking forgot about Bobby, but Bobby didn't fucking forget about, apparently he did forget about his fucking employees, and some of them he remembered a little bit too fucking well. But Bobby Kotick was accused of threatening to have somebody killed. So this isn't like some kind of like, oh, well, you know, he touched a girl's butt in 2006 and she's never been the same since. No. This is like actual real bad shit. Yeah, this is a Monka-esque situation. Let me go ahead. I'm going to pull it up right now. I want to make sure that I give you guys the right information about this. Bobby Kotick, longtime chief executive of video game giant, received a troubling email in 2018. And this is somebody, a lawyer, former employee, alleged in an email that her client had been raped in 2016, 2017 by her male supervisor after she had been pressured to consume too much alcohol in office and work environments. Female employee reported the incidents, Sledgehammer's Human Resources Department and other supervisors, but nothing happened, according to the email, which threatened a lawsuit against the company. Yeah, big surprised that nothing happened. Within months of receiving the email, said people familiar with the situation, Activision reached an out-of-court settlement with the woman, which also had reported one of the incidents to the police. Mr. Kotick didn't inform the company's board of directors about the alleged rapes or the settlement, said people with knowledge on the board. Well, that seems like, I don't know, that seems a little bit deceptive. Yeah, that's like, oh man, I forgot. Oh, Jesus, man. I was gonna tell you that, but I was just so busy telling you guys about how much money we were making. I forgot to bring up this situation that happened. Activision has been thrown in turmoil in recent months by multiple regulatory investigations. Mr. Kotick has told directors and other executives that he wasn't aware of many of the allegations of misconduct. And these are the terms and this is the language of a person whose voice is filtered through a legal team. Because you're right. So you're right. He probably was not aware of many of the allegations. He probably wasn't. But he was aware that they were happening. So there were probably, no, think about this, right? There were probably 1,000 allegations. Bobby probably knew about 50 of them. So many of them he did not know about. This is how you tell the truth and simultaneously lie. Those documents, which include memos, emails, regulatory requests, and interviews with former employees and others familiar with the company, however, cast Mr. Kotick's response in a different light. They show that he knew everything. He knew about the allegations of the employee misconduct in many parts of the company. He did not inform the board of directors about everything he knew. The interviews and the documents show even after regulators began investigating the incidents in 2018. So he kept this behind closed doors as long as he could, so he could pump up the price of the company as much as possible, and that way he could guarantee himself $100 million fucking dollar bonus. And I want to just kind of, is a person just to understand what kind of person is Bobby Kotick. In Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book, whose name do you think is in the Black Book? Let's actually look at it. So Bobby Kotick has been involved in a number of things that are a little bit more interesting. Yeah, so this is some things people don't know about. Bobby Kotick was in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book. Okay, like this is this is what I was saying about a duck, right? We're hearing a whole lot of quacking, aren't we? There's a whole lot of quacking. It just might be a duck. So let's see here. Let's talk about this. Bobby Kotick has been subpoenaed by Securities Exchange Commission investigation how company had handled reports of misconduct and disclosed them to the public. And we talked about this in September. Oh yeah, we went through all of this. We talked about all of this before. Board of Directors was blindsided by the California lawsuit's allegations, including that an Activision employee killed herself after a photo of her vagina allegedly was circulated around a company party, according to people familiar with the board. Just, you know, good old-fashioned fun, right? It's just fucking ridiculous. Like, this is what I'm saying, right? It's like, I like, guys drinking on the job, like, I don't really give a fuck about that. Like, who cares? But this is not just frat boy behavior. This is psychopath behavior. Allegedly, yeah. But, like, isn't it weird that, like, everybody is alleging one thing? Again, like, the guy that's in Jeffrey Epstein's Black Book probably didn't threaten to have somebody killed. Like, yeah, 100%. Just because he likes to get pussy doesn't make him a bad guy? There's plenty of people that get pussy all the time, they're not a bad guy. But they have to do it with consent. If Bobby was fucking bitches every day on his yacht and in his helicopter, and those women were either paid, I don't care if he's paying for prostitutes, I don't give a fuck. If they're being paid, if they are being, you know, compensated in some way, or if they just like his personality, and they want to fuck him all day. Bobby's bitches. If he wants to go around in a yacht that says Bobby's bitches on the side and fuck him all day long, I got no problem with it. But the moment that if they say they're gonna leave, he says he's gonna kill him or something like that, or they're a little bit little bit too young, maybe. Maybe there's something fucking wrong. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's not about fucking bitches. It's about the way that you go about it. Our board supports Bobby because he has giant severance clause in his contract, too expensive to get rid of him. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Bobby Kotick, one of the highest paid chief executives in the U.S. publicly traded company with pay package 2020 valued at $154 million. It's a lot of money. And Bobby Kotick, you know, to a small, like, the thing is, stop clock is right twice a day. Bobby Kotick did reduce his amount of compensation to minimum wage. And it seemed like things were getting better. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it seemed like things at Blizzard were finally turning around after this statement was made. Like and I'm saying it seemed, right? Like, I'm not saying it was. In August, Activision named a longtime employee, Jen Oneal, to be Blizzard's co-head, making her the first woman to lead the company's business units. The following month, she sent an email to a member of Activision's legal team in which she professed a lack of faith in Activision's leadership to turn the culture around, saying it was clear that the company would never prioritize our people the right way. Ms. Oneal said in the email that she had been sexually harassed earlier in her career. Wow, what goes around comes around. Isn't that interesting? It seems like every single fucking person. I've talked to like 5 or 6, probably more than that, female employees at Blizzard. Not a single fucking one of them hasn't had a story of being at least vaguely sexually harassed. It's too many fucking people. Oneal said in the company she was sexually harassed. And she was paid less than her male counterpart at the helm of Blizzard. That's Mike Ybarra, and wanted to discuss her resignation. Now, her being paid less than Mike Ybarra, I think this is a red herring. It doesn't really matter. There could be a million fucking reasons for that, and some of those could make sense. I don't care about that. That is like a completely separate fucking issue. This here, I have been tokenized, marginalized, and discriminated against, right, wrote Miss Oneal, who's Asian American and gay. So it was very obvious that whenever Blizzard had Mike Ybarra and Jen Oneal, they had both of them take the leadership reins of Blizzard. It was obvious to me, and I think everybody, that they had to put a woman in that leadership charge. And I think that she's right. I think that she was put in that position because of that, and she resented that because this is a woman that's had a successful career for decades. And to have that successful career reduced down to her gender is an insult to her accomplishments. So you have to look at it from her perspective. It's that, you know, I've done all of these things for all of this time, And the only reason I'm being put in this position is because of a chromosome. And it would make anybody in her position feel worthless. She described the party for Activision development studio she attended with Mr. Kotick around 2007, which scantily clad women danced around on stripper poles. The same party, DJ encouraged female employees to drink more so men would have a better time. This is like another situation, like I think scantily clad women on stripper poles, like, I don't know, maybe I'm a degenerate, but this doesn't really bother me as much as this does. Like, this is really, really bad. This is just trashy. This is trashy. This, in my opinion, should be borderline illegal. I mean, it's a completely different universe. Mr. Kotick disputed that Activision is unwelcoming to women and said the examples of misconduct identified in the journal are exceptions that don't reflect the company overall. He said he is spending more time on workplace issues. If there are experiences people have in the workplace that make them uncomfortable, we're much more adept at being able to respond to those. Well, wow, that's crazy. Just in time. Kotick said that he and the board now expect to be kept better informed. Oh, great. So they expect to be kept better informed. So this is a displacement of responsibility. Now the responsibility is no longer on the board to inform themselves. It is now on the people to inform the board. Like, this is the kind of things, like these little small words and this little type of language. You see this thing? This little type of language, this weaselly little bullshit that you can read and see what's happening. And it's these little words that just very slowly craft a poisonous narrative in the minds of the people that read it that are not initiated in the arts of lying and misdirection, which is what this exactly is. Weasel, yeah, what a weaselly little liar. Exactly. Is there any evidence at fucking all the points of that at all anywhere? Is there any evidence at all? No, I feel like all this is fake. All of the different, everything, the literal hundreds of employees that have come forward about a culture of sexual harassment and abuse, all those are fake. The Jeffrey Epstein thing was photoshopped in by people that wanted to bring Bobby down. It's by his competitors. This is all a gigantic conspiracy to make Bobby Kotick look bad. Like, I'm sorry, but not that many people give a fuck about Bobby Kotick. Bobby knows what's going on. He knows what's happening. I would probably assume Bobby knows a good amount of what's happening even in World of Warcraft. Like, not with the employees, but I bet he has a general idea of what's happening in World of Warcraft. Because he is the CEO, and that is just what CEOs do. Like, he is clearly not incompetent at making money. Like, nobody can debate that Bobby has made the company a lot of fucking money. It's the way that he's done it is the problem. Bobby, to some degree, and this is my take on it, is that if you want to claim ownership of the profits and successes that Blizzard has had, Activision Blizzard has had over the past 10 years, then you also have to take equal ownership of all of the failures. So Bobby can't say that, oh, well, I came in there and I caused all this good stuff to happen, but all the good stuff that happened is because of me, and all the bad stuff that happened is because of somebody else. I think J. Allen Brack is a good example of this. I think J. Allen Brack, and it's the same thing with Mike Morhaime, right? To a lesser extent. J. Allen Brack is just a good old boy who got put in way fucking over his head, had no idea what he was doing, couldn't solve any of the problems he was put in front of. The guy fucking gets put in as president of Blizzard Entertainment, and then, like, 2 or 3 months later, fucking California begins a full-scale investigation on him. In a year and a half, all this dude's hair is gray. Like, that job was killing him. And it's probably the best thing that probably ever happened to fucking J. Allen Brack is the fact that he left Blizzard. Like, for his own health. I can almost guarantee you that. But it's still his responsibility. It's still his fucking fault. And this is what happens. I'll give you a really good example with OTK. So in OTK, we had our 1-year big anniversary event. And that anniversary event was a cock in the ass. It was complete fucking garbage because we hired a production team that was incompetent. But you know what? It's our responsibility to make sure that it goes right. So we can blame the production team and it was their fault, but it's our responsibility. And at the end of the day, the buck stops with us because we own the fucking company. And it's the exact same thing in this situation. If you want to own the successes, you have to own the failures. You can't have one or the other. So anyway, speaking of Bobby making the company a whole lot of money, the board of directors issued a statement about old Bobby. And this is what, after this has happened, this is what the board of directors has said about Bobby himself. We are disappointed in the Wall Street Journal's report, which presents an inaccurate and misleading view of Activision Blizzard and our CEO. Instances of sexual misconduct that were brought to his attention were acted upon. Wall Street Journal ignores important changes underway. So this is like, again, this is misleading language, because acted upon does not mean that they were acted upon correctly or adequately or in any sort of a satisfactory manner. Yes, the action in one of these was that he saved the guy's job. So again, the language tells the truth, but the message lies. Constant Desire fails to account for the efforts of thousands of employees who work hard every day to live up to their and our values. The constant desire to be better has always set this company apart, which is why, at Mr. Kotick's direction, we have made significant improvements, including a zero-tolerance policy for inappropriate conduct, and which is why, moving forward with unwavering focus, speed, and resources, we will continue increasing diversity across our company and industry and ensure that every employee comes to work feeling valued, safe, respected, and inspired. Well, that certainly doesn't seem to be happening. This is a disaster. It's just another fucking disaster. And I said this right on Twitter, fuck Bobby Kotick. This is the only thing that I think we can really say. Fuck Bobby Kotick. This guy has caused so much fucking trouble. He has created so much fucking drama for this company. Everything that you hear outside of Bobby Kotick's, own words are negative about him. This person just makes the entire company look bad, but he makes them a lot of money. And I think we're going to see very soon, in the next couple of days, whether making them that much amount of money is going to make the difference.